Hello. Sometimes pizza is just a good idea. I actually might not do the video codec because someone released a single file C library that does a video codec, so it's like less important. Now I regret saying that because people will never stop asking me about it, but whatever. Where? I don't remember. It was on Twitter. Just look on Twitter for the single file C library. Let me see if I can find the link. It was here. I mean, it's a different thing than what I was going to do because I was going to do something that's not really compatible with anything. And this guy was like, oh, I'll do the MPEG-1 thing because that's out of patent. And that's actually probably more useful to people while simultaneously probably being less fun. But that's fine. Toronto Raptors just won basketball game. How many times did they bounce the basketball in order to win? I just spent half an hour tonight watching people play Valve's Auto Chess clone. It's exactly like Auto Chess. Except with a mobile UI, so you know they're going to microtransact people to death. Yeah, E3 was pretty bad this year. I feel sorry for anyone for whom that was their first E3. I will say E3 has gotten continually worse over time. Like back in the late 1990s, there were so many games at E3 on the show floor that you could just walk up and play without standing in a line. You would discover interesting games by just walking around and playing stuff. Like you wouldn't have heard of most of the games. And now there's way fewer games being made, and they're way more boring, and etc. So yeah, it's not a good show. I don't have that much of a rant about E3. I think the death of E3 is kind of natural. What kind of pizza? I don't know. It's a pizza with stuff on it. I don't understand auto chess, actually. Can somebody explain to me why auto chess is supposed to be a good game? Can someone explain to me what is the chess part of auto chess? Apart from that it's on an 8x8 grid that doesn't really matter anyway. It's like, okay, there's a board with front and back ranks, but everyone always has characters that can fly and jump around and whatever anyway. So why is that even a thing? Why are there, you know? Positioning matters a lot. It sure doesn't look like it matters. Especially in the Valve clone that just came out. Maybe it matters more in actual auto chess. All right, I'm gonna get this pizza. We'll put the last bit in the refrigerator, and then we'll start actually programming. Can someone explain to me why auto chess is a popular game? I seriously don't get it. Especially, so auto chess is especially weird because you're fighting another player, but your combat on your screen is different from the combat on their screen. Like you both might win or something. Like it's so bizarre. Like they couldn't even get that part of the networking working. So they're just like, different things happen. Whereas in the Valve one, I think that's not true. Mostly that the player skill brackets are based on chess piece names. Okay. It's like in the real world when countries fight, they always both think they won. Okay. I don't think you can micro. I haven't seen anyone microing. It's weird because in like actual auto chess, you do have a character on the board, but that character doesn't do anything as near as I could tell. I guess it's like the courier from Dota or something. And in the Valve one, you don't even have that. Okay. Let's hope stuff isn't super broken. Do I get back pain from sitting for long periods? No, I do not. It's never been a problem that I've had. I think it's just, I think there are so many auto chess clones because the people who clone stuff don't have, there's nothing else trendy happening right now, I guess, is how I would say it. You know? Like the wave of Battle Royale clones is mostly done for now. I mean, there will be more, but the big wave is done. And like the people who make all the clones need something to clone. Wow, an anonymous gifter. Thank you, anonymous gifter. My two big indie games are both extremely single player. My first professional game was a multiplayer game, bro. All right. So here's what's up. Why is it? Oh, man. F. I have to send a mail. This is going to drive me nuts. All right. So the problem is there's some work going on simultaneously about game resource stuff, and it has a problem in it, and it's causing any basic thing that I do to take like many seconds. In fact, even what's going on here? Like, what the hell? The frame rate drops 2 FPS every time. Like, look at that. I can't even walk from square to square. I don't know what's going on there. It's game development. Game development. Yeah, I'm going to have to revert to an earlier version. Let's try 10801, which is where I left off at work. Oh, God, dude. Okay, this part of Subversion sucks. Just like I said, revert. But it doesn't actually mean revert right there. It means roll back. Like, don't say revert. Oh my God. Are we still running the process? Microsoft doesn't want me to know the details. No, so why can't... This is a very productive stream so far. Everyone wonders why I want to get rid of tools and not have complicated things. Oh my God, dude. Wow, we're so productive today, right now. This is great. That's why you use Git, lol, or coaster. All right. Let's try this again. Why is that still conflicted? Holy fuck, dude. So this is weird. This has been happening to me a lot lately, but I know that that's not running. So like, what? See? Like the only job of this program is to let me do this, and it like doesn't fucking do it consistently. All right. Now we're in the rat hole of let's upgrade the client to hope that maybe it'll help fix this, which it won't. Okay, well, I said that this was going to be a programming stream, but maybe this is just a computer using stream. We're going to be using computers today. It's not 90% of programming for me. I agree that 90% of programming is going down rat holes for most programmers, but that's why most programmers don't get any work done. Okay? In this house, we try to get actual work done, which is why I'm so annoyed right now. Sure, we'll just close Windows Explorer. Oh, we weren't able to do that. Make sure Windows Explorer is not in use. Like, fuck you. What are you even talking about? Why is this so ridiculous? I'll just close some other things that are not even related, because you can't run programs if you want to use software that you have to update because it doesn't work. Like, what? Why would you think that that was even an option? You can't do that. I don't even know what happened there. I don't know if it did anything. Okay, so it actually installed over the old copy. This is 108.05, so I think I can just do this. Why do I have modified thing? Didn't I just do a revert? Oh, it's treecon. Oh my god. Why don't you just delete the fucking file? All right. Let's try again. Gonna make sure we are all in one revision. What is even happening now? Is it like not recursive? If I don't use the command line enough. Look, we're reverting all of this. See, this is a problem with Subversion, actually, is oh my God. What? Okay, we have to figure out what's going on here. Like, is this... All right, this is a computer using stream. Like, does some process on my machine have this file open for some reason? The process is not running. Like, can I just delete it? Let me see. Oh, great. I'm sure glad this is like a really big view. Like, what is going on? Let's just try deleting the file. I need to provide administrator permission. Why? That was weird. Maybe it got owned by administrator for some reason? And that's the problem? Why did it get owned by administrator? Anyway, what I was about to say is that what I was about to say is that the UI is not just a slightly nicer interface for the text version at this point. Like, it does things differently in some cases. And it does it because the way the command line tool works is just completely impractical in some case. Like that thing where it gave me a zillion tree conflicts for no reason, for like a regular rollback to a previous revision, and it wanted me to like vet everyone. It's like, that's just ridiculous. I don't know if there was like a capital, if you could put in a capital version of the options. It didn't say that. All right, let's try this again. One of these days we might be able to do this. See, this is actually doing it. This version says, oh yeah, we'll delete those files. And like the command line one doesn't, I don't know, maybe there's a different, maybe if you just don't say update, maybe if you say something else. I don't know, man. Anyway, okay. In theory, after 27 minutes into the stream, I mean, we chatted and ate pizza at the beginning, but like, hey, maybe I can actually, okay, I can move squares without the frame rate diving. I can reset. Okay, so now we could actually maybe start to do work. Congratulations. Let's put some tags now. Let's put programming and game development tags on the stream now that we're actually doing those things. Hopefully. Now, if this were Git, that whole process would have resulted in me having destroyed my entire source repository. So because we're using Subversion, that didn't happen. All right. So we could do work. Here's what I was going to do. Or here's a thing. I think I might have done this completely off stream. So if I exit this level and I come back, it loads the save file and says resuming where you left off, which is great if you've actually done things. Like if I run my warrior all the way over here and then I leave and then I come back and play the level, he's over there. That's good. But it's stupid if I'm just at the beginning of the level. Because like, why is it bothering telling me that? So I think the first simple thing that we're going to do as a low-hanging fruit is if we load a save game from a level and it's just at the start, then don't do anything. You know? Actually, so if I Alt F4 this and I don't have anything in local variables, which I don't, so next time I start, I should be on that level again, right? Yeah, it's loading it. Okay. So, what are we doing? We are, let's make a good debug build here, and let's start our debugger. And we're going to go to undo, load undo data. And I just want to see, I want to verify that, no? Oh, is it in serialize? Maybe. No. See, this would all be set up and ready to use, except that my computer rebooted itself again. I came home and a Twitch stream was just playing in my browser. Or no, YouTube video. It was just playing. Like I was outside my door and I was like, why are people talking inside my apartment? That's weird. And it was just that the computer had rebooted like 10 minutes before that. I could tell because that's how far into the YouTube video it was. And then of course it opened the web browser back to the pages that were open so that you don't know that it rebooted itself. And of course one of those was a YouTube page that I'd had open, paused, but of course now it was not paused after the reboot. So thanks Windows for trying to pretend like you're not rebooting my machine. All right. We're looking for load undo data. It's in campaign. That's what I was trying to think of. Okay. This one, we want to go, well, we'll just like right after this version stuff, we'll set a breakpoint. And we'll just step through to, we really should see something very simple, like, hey, here's how many moves there are. And we could certainly reject the save if it's 0 moves, but we could even do like some small number of moves. We could say like, look, if it's less than 4 moves, don't bother loading it or something, right? I don't know. I don't know what makes sense. 10 moves, 8 moves. Okay, so we load the manifest, and then we're going to get to this point. Like my computer reboots itself like twice a week now. Every computer reboots itself twice a week. For what? Like I don't want any of whatever they're doing to it, whatever that is. So yeah, record count is 0. So I think here we're just going to say, look, if the record count is less than some constant, we're just going to return false, that we didn't load it. That's what we're going to do. So we're just going to say that is going to be like 4, didn't do much, don't bother loading the state. And that also means we won't bother saying that we loaded the state. So here, there we go. We didn't say resuming where you left off. If I do this, I exit the area. We've saved it, but yeah, we didn't load. But if I go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, exit the area, go there, then we do. Okay, so that's successful. I don't know if I'm going to try to commit that because it might, we'll not commit till the end because we're not on the head revision right now because of those other issues. I've had updates disabled on Windows 10 for 4 years and haven't seen any useful or good features on up-to-date machines. I certainly haven't seen any useful or good features on the machines that I have that are being updated. Your Windows does not reboot automatically, you claim. How do you manage that? Mine always does. Like it asks, it'll pop up a dialog, but if you're not there to say no to it, it'll reboot eventually. Haven't seen any useful or good features in Windows, period. There are some useful and good features in Windows. They're just a vast minority at this point of the operating system. Like the amount of the operating system that you actually want is less than 1% by either features or code. Like it's crazy. It's crazy. Problem is that's true for Linux also approximately. I mean, Windows is probably a lot bigger, but you know, you don't want almost any of it. Yeah, I have a feeling all these people saying Windows never reboots my computer actually shut down their computer all the time, and that's why, and it updates. Group policy editor can be used to prevent reboots. No, they turned that off as far as I understand. Unless there's a different way to do it now. If you have no disk space, it can't download updates. That's a good idea. Yeah, I could write a program that just makes a giant empty file, however big is the remaining space on my hard drive, and then delete it again in the morning when I get up to do work. Okay, well, this is good. We actually got a feature done today, despite our source control problem. If I'm being very lazy, which I am tonight, that's good enough. Everything else that we do is gravy. There is a new thing that we should do, though, which is the opposite of this as well. Right now, if you win a level and then it saves it, then it saves it in a victory state, and then if you ever go back to the level, it just wins it again, which is really stupid. And what if you wanted to replay the level? So we should fix that. And the question is what to do. One thing I could do is just mark the level as like, hey, you won this on the last move, and then if we save that, then when we load it, maybe we just reset from the beginning, right? Or here's the other thing I was thinking. And this is going to be harder and more annoying to program, but you know what? You got to start sometime. So right now, in this game, if you run around doing a bunch of things, and then you hit R to reset, you can't undo back before the reset. I'm hitting Z right now and nothing is happening, right? So if you accidentally reset, or you reset and then get an idea and want to go back, you like can't, right? And in a lot of puzzle games, traditionally you can. Not all of them, but like Puzzle Script, for example, you can go back before your reset. So that would be a good idea, I think, to implement. And if we did that, then if you win a level, maybe we just add a reset to the end, right? So that next time you load, you're at the reset at the end, but you can undo. Maybe. If we do that, though, the reason maybe I'm thinking we don't do that is that that'll make everyone's save data way, way, way bigger for something that maybe people don't care that much about. Because like being able to go back and rewind your solution doesn't seem that important. What do people think about this? Does the game have fast forward after rewind? Right now it doesn't. We might add something. I don't know. I was gonna add some kind of more of a scrub interface for rewind. Um, but that's totally uncharted territory right now. It's okay not to be able to undo a reset. Well, it's two different issues. Whether or not you can undo a reset, which I would like to, is different for, okay, there's three different issues. All right. There's can you undo a reset or not? Issue one. There's if you have a reset and then you keep playing and then you save the state of the level to come back and play later, do you save everything before the reset or not, right? That's issue two. You might say, well, you can undo a reset until you've gone and done some other levels and then we throw it away. That seems reasonable, right? To keep save file space down. And number three, though, which is like the stronger version of that, is do you just save everything always, even after you've won the level, and then you could go back and look at the states from beforehand or not? And I don't know. I mean, I could see doing it either way. Like, as I think about it right now, it's like, oh, we don't want the save file space to be super big, maybe. But 20 years from now, is anyone going to care about the save file space? Probably not. Wouldn't it be cooler? Here I start having conflicting feelings, because I could imagine that there's something very cool about the feeling of I've built up all these solutions, and then I could sort of see the solutions afterward, or know or feel good about them existing in the world. You know what I mean? Rather than just the level being set to solved. The problem is I don't exactly know how to do that well. It's like a new idea to do that, and I don't know what that looks like. And this game is complicated enough, and at some point we need to focus and ship it. So I think there's maybe enough to it, and we shouldn't think about that kind of thing. Is this game going to have something like a sausage roll? No. Basically, everything that's going to be in the game is in the game. Is there anything wrong with SSR's way of doing things? Once you complete a level and restart the game, you can only undo back to right after beating the level. I mean, that's fine. I didn't exactly know that SSR does that. So maybe we will do that. Maybe we will. So if you win a level, let's take this in pieces. So maybe if you win a level, let's do this. Let's win this level. Oops. I forget. I guess I could do this. Pro strats. Pro strats. Whoops, that's not pro. Oh, even that's pro, actually. Okay, so just to illustrate the problem, we have won the level. We're going to exit the area. We're going to go back and... oh. It didn't save at the very end. That's really... it didn't save the game. It saved the previous... this is... okay. You know, we saw this at work today. Saving just doesn't always work, which is bizarre. I honestly don't know what to make of that. Maybe we should debug that. Okay. It says successfully saved. Oh, it saved the status. Okay, it didn't save. See, here it says we saved heroes 117.history. I'm actually not sure. Dude, temperature control in this room is a problem today. Okay, here's where I said exit the area. Here we loaded 118 because we won 117. See, this is a complex level. Maybe let's go to some earlier levels and try to repro this. Like this one. It didn't save it. Okay, you know what it might be? Maybe we're not saving on victory right now for some reason. Right, so if I go back, go there. Yeah, see, we're loading. That's interesting. I'm very confused by that. I'm not super confused. Okay. We're just going to have to find who does this because we don't want to do this. We don't want to not save on victory. Okay, so at the earlier I was saying we have this problem where we save on victory and it catches you there. And that is true, but the main places where that was seen happening are games that have different victory conditions than this. So I think this is opting not to save. The way that this is opting not to save on victory isn't applying to other things. And so we have the problem sometimes, but not other times. And now here we have a different problem, which is that it's loading us in a weird place. Whereas instead we would rather save something that says, hey, look, we won the frickin' level. Okay. Even a lot of the Zachtronics games save the state of your previous puzzles. Yeah, but he doesn't save undo for all the previous puzzles, right? Oh yeah, this looks just like auto chess. It's got squares. So let's just look at the source code before we try to browse in the debugger for a bit. Okay, that's a different thing. It's not actual victory. This is the victory condition that is happening on these. So okay, here's what's going on. We have this function called request autosave. This must be getting called when we exit. This must be getting called from a different place, right? Note victory. All right. I feel like we have too many calls to request autosave floating around. This sets a variable, and that variable says save there's two different save files, sort of, or there's many different, but one of the save files is just sort of the master state of your whole campaign. It's like, what level are you in right now? What levels have you won, and which levels have you visited, and that sort of thing, right? So request autosave sets a variable that always saves that. And then I believe it also saves the undo data, or maybe not, right? Maybe that gets saved somewhere else. So let's see where that gets called from. Save undo data. Okay. No. Okay, it doesn't save, but right. So I had the wrong mental model because it's been a little while before I did these. So when we say autosave requested, we say call save campaign. And that is just the main campaign file, the status file. That is not these. So these are called explicitly. So we need to do this in the case of a victory. We could make a third one where we say save current undo data due to victory. Now the area exit one probably doesn't get called during victory, which is why we're not saving it. Yeah, this just gets called from return to Nexus or overworld. Okay, so that explains that. And then the reason, okay, so then the reason we were seeing this weird problem only on some levels is that on those levels we call return to Nexus or overworld. Right? because when you get to the last, so like each of these little subworlds has a sequence of levels, and when you finish a level in the middle, it just puts you in the next level in the sequence. But when you finish the last level, then it calls this function to return you back. And so maybe I put a variable in here that says, is this from the menu or not? Like I could see having a keybind or a button bind that calls this. So I don't want to necessarily put this directly. Like I could move this call for save into the menu. But I think instead we'll say and the reason I'm doing this, whoops. The reason I'm doing this is I'm saying only do this if it's not due to level completion. So only do this if it's from the menu or from a explicit key press or something. Is because when we complete levels, we're going to kick off a save at that point, at the victory point. So let's not save it again after that just because it happened to be the last one and we return to the overworld. You get what I'm saying? Hopefully. Okay. You're speaking to the idea of going back and seeing what you did before and the general feeling you get from that. You also like that in the witness puzzle panels. Yeah, I just don't know how to do that in this game is the thing. It doesn't feel like that kind of a game. And at some point you do have to call it and make the game that you're making. Otherwise, you'll be in development hell forever. So if I saw a really good idea for how to do that, I mean, there is sort of that in this game, which is just the levels that you solve will be marked solved and you can walk around and see all that. But the state internal to the levels, it's like you can't really see that, and I'm not sure how to make it more visible. So I'm not going to obsess on it or rat hole on it because the game is already good and we just need to finish it. You can't use @ in TIS 100 labels because it's used in the save format. What? What kind of weak sauce save format does that game? Is it a text save format? Well, we ate the pizza. You were promised pizza and you got pizza if you were here for the beginning of the stream. Okay. So let's make this compiled because we just added a thing here. This is not an optional argument. So everybody who calls it will break. And from menu, why is there all that space there? False. And Sokoban. True. So we're advancing a level due to victory. If that happens, return to Nexus or Overworld. True. This will This will not save anything. Okay, probably more, yep. Okay. So this is for the case of if we just stand on one of those level select disks and go to the overworld then this happens. Okay. So now that at least makes it so we don't have a weird special save on the last level. But now we want to call something here when we go to transition mode victory. Should we go start? Like as soon as you start waiting for victory, we're going to just call this and let's just pass. Like it's a little bit sloppy to do this, so I know this is not parallel construction anymore, but maybe we'll clean these up later. So we're saving the current undo data due to victory. And what does that mean? Well, I think we're just going to say save undo data manager true, right? That's going to say due to victory. And we're going to let that be optional for now. And what we're going to do is so this is a little bit dicey. What we're going to do here is we're going to say if we're saving due to victory, oh, here. So this is a little dicey. In principle, okay. So what I was about to do here, maybe this isn't the best way to do it. I was about to just say, hey, look, there's 0 undo records. So now when you load it, we'll do the thing that we just put in where we say if the undo records is less than some amount, then just return and don't load the rest of the file. This will work if we do it, I think. The problem is if we ever change our mind about that, then here we're not saving the expected rest of the file. So if we ever change that loading code to say, hey, you know what? Don't return early even if there's 0 records, we'll then try to go load the fog data or the hero ID and we'll just fail. Maybe that's fine too because we just return false on failure, but one thing we could do is bump the file format by 1 and add a new variable that says, is this a victory save or not? And if it's a victory save, then we don't do anything. I think I'm going to do that. It is cleaner. it really may not matter in reality. But I think this is the right thing. Yeah, you get it. There's much more going on in the state of the game. Visualizing the exact way a player completed a puzzle and then rapid as summary may not fit. Yeah, I mean, different games are conducive to different things. And for this one, I mean, it might be that if I was fascinated enough by that idea and I thought about it for a long time, I might come up with something. But just offhand, I don't know. And again, like this game is already it's gonna be a challenge to bring it home and complete it, given what we were already putting into it. So adding more is not the call. So we're not going to do this the dicey way. We're just going to say victory saves are very short. They don't have any other data. It's going to be very easy to understand when we come back later. It's literally going to be here. We're going to say if due to victory, put builder cast U8 1, right? It's a 1 byte. Otherwise, it's a 0 byte. Okay, so undo. Where is this number? So we're now version 7. Okay, so now we have to deal with this when we load undo data. Are there any questions about why I'm doing it this way instead of the way I was about to do? So here, right after we get the version, we say if version is greater than or equal to 7, we say is victory save is a U8, get is victory save okay. I didn't save that. Have I thought about how marketing is going to work? No. Considering the witness did so well, do we basically have no concerns about it? Ha ha ha, very funny. No. Dude. Any game we release could make absolutely no money. That's just a thing that could happen. All right, so let's go back here. Whoops. I hit the wrong button. How did we, oh, I hit the backslash key, which cheats me forward a bunch of levels. Okay, that gave us a fresh file. So let's try this again. I'm going to step there. I'm going to exit the area, go back in. I've got that saved. Interesting. Okay. I hit exit before we completely finished stepping onto that. We might deal with that later. Okay. So here, I'm going to exit again. We go back. Okay. So now, though, if I do a victory save, the next time I come in, we should get a fresh level. Yes, okay. That's good. That's really all that I really wanted to do tonight, honestly. I was feeling like this save file stuff was a little bit chaotic and needed some improvement, and now it's had that improvement. We got some muck B progression. Good. I'm glad you think we got some muck B progression. Does it handle saves properly when you complete the last level in a Nexus now? Well, we can test that. The theory is yes. Whoops, that was the last level. Let's go back here. So first, we'll just check this. Okay, it's saved where we left off. So we're going to do this. So now before, when we did this, it would be stuck now, so that if we went back in, it would just say victory and kick us back out. But it should be a fresh save. Yep. Ship it! Ship it. Yeah, look how amazing this game looks. We have gray walls and pixelated floors. It's pretty cool. Yeah, this level is here because it was in the original game, and my impression is we will take it out. The reason that all these other levels have at least some level of graphical treatment and this one does not is that we said, you know, we're likely to take it out. This one, I'm not sure if it feels epic enough to be a last level. So we might have to design a new level that's somehow more epic. In Heroes 3, I think, this is the one where I designed a new level for the end. Yeah. Oh no, this is Matt's level. Wait, was it? It was Heroes 1 where I designed a new level. Wait, no, that was that one. Wait, what am I thinking of? Is it? I think it's the next to last on Heroes 3. Yeah. Okay, so this is my level. And then this is Matt's level. And we both sort of did these as, hey, what would be a good last level? I'm not actually sure. Like, I feel like we might go with this one and then put this one in like a later, like, fun level pack or something. Because this one is really interesting unless you don't get it. And if you don't get it, it's a horrible mess. And I feel like people might not get it. I don't know. Maybe we just need to see what happens when people play this one. Like, I feel like this works better the more expert people are at the game. That's all. You like watching my work streams, but what do I get out of it? I don't know. I get different things. Sometimes I just get annoyed at chat. Not tonight. Tonight's been good. It's just a fun way to mix it up a little bit, I guess. Do I get crazy ideas that I wouldn't otherwise get? Not totally, no. I find it easier to get ideas actually when I'm not streaming, or when I'm not in the office as well. Like it's hard to be creative in the office for some reason. How worried am I about giving too much away in these streams? I don't know. It's hard to judge. What API do we use for rendering? Right now, OpenGL, but we will probably be changing that, or at least we will support some other things because we're going to be on other platforms where you can't really run games in GL. Do I feel I'm more or less focused when streaming? Less, usually. Ever visited Machu Picchu? No. No, I have not. Changing rendering API late into development. No. So commercial game development doesn't involve one rendering API. You take it for granted that you're using multiple rendering APIs and that you won't do most of them till late in development. Because like, dude, if you're going to ship a game on the PS4, that just doesn't support any rendering API that you would use on any other platform, okay? If you're going to ship on macOS or iOS, it just doesn't support any rendering API that you could use on any other platform at this point. Like, you could try GL, but GL is deprecated and you're not going to have fun. So it's not... Being an adult game developer company that targets many platforms just means you have to knuckle down and be able to support several APIs. That's just how it is. It would be easier if we didn't have to do that, for sure. We would have less stupid work to do, but that's just how it is. How much work is it to port a PC game to iOS or PlayStation? It really depends on the game. Really depends. This one's interesting because now you have to figure out some way to kill this guy. I don't know. I don't know. We have to see how people respond to this level. It's unclear how it's going to go. All right. Anyway. We're doing good, people. What should I do? I had a to-do list that I wrote at work. And I think we may have done the things on it. Oh, well, we haven't done undoable reset. That might be a thing that we don't do tonight. You know what? Here's the thing. I would like to do undoable reset soon, but I think I would like to check these changes in and just like let them germinate for a bit, and we see if there's any problem with these, any further problem, before I randomize the situation by doing the reset thing. So I think maybe we do that in 1 or 2 weeks from now. feel the mood to run a classic Sokoban game. Well, I'm sure you could find one. Those are things that exist. Most of them are not very good. I played my first Sokoban game you played it in the terminal via terminal emulation, and I think it was just called Sokoban, and it was on an Apollo workstation computer probably. And it was probably an open source. Well, you didn't have the term open source back then, but I think it was something for which the source was available that you could compile it anywhere. Was there a Sokoban puzzle in Zork 3? I don't remember it. When did open source start? I don't know, like late 90s at least? Mid 90s? Late 90s. Something like that. Okay, well, if there was one in Zork, then that might have been my first Sokoban game. I played that in high school. You know what? I feel like this is going to be a short stream. This has been good progress, and I think we just call it. We just say, hey, we didn't do that much, but it was two things that are important. Let me just try updating. See if I can update and commit these. Wait. I thought we were at 108.01. What is going on? Why do we have a modified level? What is that all about? Didn't I just revert on the entire source tree? Like, why do I have a modified level? I mean, this is a new level, but I didn't, or it's a new graphics. I don't know. It's in progress. Oh, those are, okay. Wait, these are all the changes. Is it going to try to remake all the... What is going on, dude? Oh, I said revert changes from... Okay, we're in trouble. We're in trouble. I did the wrong thing, because I don't do this very often. It actually made a working copy that backs out the changes from all that, which is fine. It enabled me to work. But I really just wanted to update to revision. So now I have to revert the changes that I reverted. All right. Hopefully they won't be bad. Yeah. Yeah. That was a mistake. I admit it. Okay, that's the only change there. Let's start at the top. Campaign. Those are all things that we want. Save. Those are things that we want to revert. Menu. That is a thing we want. Sokoban. Those are all things that we want. And transition. Those are things that we want. Okay. Well, let's hope we didn't screw anything up. Okay. Better behavior for save files. You need a doctorate just to manage it? Compared to what? Compared to what? How many are this project? You mean how many people? I don't know. How many people are working on this project right now? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Probably about 7 people. 8 people. 9. You know, 9. Is everyone remote? No, not everyone. We do have some people who work remotely. How many on the compiler? There's like 4 people working on the compiler, approximately. Approximately. Well. Any final questions? Am I against the idea of pushing out quick sequels? Well, there's no such thing as a quick sequel. Like, you're going to spend at least a year on it, probably, unless it's a crappy mobile game. So if you're going to spend that much time, you might as well do something good. I mean, for a game like this, you probably could do a sequel that would be good, that would be interesting. Just because of the nature of the game, if you just add a little bit, you know, a couple more kinds of entities that have interesting behavior, they could combine with the previous entities and you get a lot of interesting new levels maybe. But it would take time to make that. And with other games that I've done, like Braid or The Witness, I just don't know, like, it just doesn't make sense. I don't know what a Braid 2 would be. I don't know what Witness 2 would be. It doesn't make sense. Add a second key to append to a recording. They're kind of related to saving state. That's a totally different save system than the one that we just did. Totally different. How can we compile much faster than C++ if it's implemented in C++? Well, I mean, it doesn't matter what it's implemented in, really. Like, that doesn't have any bearing. It doesn't have much bearing on compiler speed. It's just a different thing. I'm not sure how to explain it, right? Like, it's not the language that it's written in that makes it faster. It's the fact that it's not doing all the things at compile time that makes C++ slow. Like, the language is structured to not be slow to compile. What is the weirdest entity compared to other games in the genre? I don't know that we have any entities that are that weird. Maybe the mirrorable mirror is the weirdest one. We don't use it that much, though. Have I ever considered making public repository to stream? No. Nope. Biggest reasons this is better than Rust or Go. I have a whole video on YouTube about that you could look up. It's dated, it's old, and we've done a lot of development since then, but the basic ideas are there. And it's not necessarily about being better globally, it's about being much better for my domain than those things. You could probably speed up C++ compilers by rewriting them, yes. But part of the problem is just the way C++ works. So you might, if you rewrite a C++ compiler, maybe you could make it 5 times faster. Maybe. I don't know. That's just a random number that I'm guessing. But you know, Unreal Engine is still going to take 15 minutes to compile. So that's just due to the way C++ works. Witness 2 needs sinking towers. That's true. It does. That's what we learned from the game reviewers. How is the language for a non-systems level programmer? You definitely have to be a little more systems-y. Like, you have to think about your memory. So it's just how ready are you to do that is the question. How long do I think an Unreal Engine equivalent would take to compile this compiler right now? I don't know how many lines Unreal is. So I can't say. I mean, I would put it at about, right now, 1 second per 100,000 lines ish, right? So if it's 5 million lines, you know, a while, 50 seconds. That's of course something we can speed up, but that's how the speed right now. Do we have an automatic code format or no? Any news on the modules implementation? No, it's still in progress. Will I play Dota Auto Chess? No. Is there anything on the to-do list for compiler optimization? Yes, but it's hard, so we're doing it later. I mean, there's stuff in the near future, so by doing not hard things, we could probably get this 1 second down to like 0.7 or 0.6 seconds, which then matters a lot because if you're multiplying by 50, right, then, you know, that turns you into 30 seconds instead of 50 seconds, which is a lot. But ultimately, we should be more than 10 times faster than we are right now. It just starts to get hard when you start talking about that, because C++ doesn't, that involves doing serious threaded things, and C++ is not good at that. Google says UE3 is 2 million. Okay. So 20 seconds, approximately. Are we single-threaded now? Not really. Parts of the compiler are single-threaded and parts are multi-threaded. So, for example, parsing files, loading the source files and parsing them is multi-threaded. But shortly after that, they all get put into a single-threaded situation for type checking. And that's the hard part, is multi-threading the type checking. It's not that easy to do in C++, without introducing tons of race conditions, which is a bummer. So maybe at some point we'll start doing some refactors to make it less error prone to do that. But right now it's hard. If I could make another self who couldn't work on my current stuff, what game would he make? He would go back and make game 3, which is currently on pause while we do all this other stuff. He could take the Sokoban engine right now and start doing game 3 in it. Calculated number of lines, does it really take the same amount of time per line? Probably not. But if you're going to estimate, you have to estimate somehow. You know, usually if you're worried about things being slower than linear, you know, you ask yourself, well, what's likely to do that? Identifier lookup, but you know, we use hash tables for identifier lookup once you go past a certain size. So in theory, that's not that slow. except we do have an auto growing hash. So if you have like a lot of really big namespaces, that could get slower. Yeah, I don't know. We have to see. It is a little bit optimistic. Just assuming that right now everything, like if I compiled 2 million lines right now, it might not scale linearly, but I don't think there's any real reason in principle that it would not be very close to linear. So what would happen was we'd go like, oh, that's slower than we expected. Let's go profile it and figure it out why. Oh, this part of the compiler is not scaling linearly, so let's fix that, right? But that's just elbow grease. It's not really that hard to do those things. Game 3 is Candy Crush 3. That's a good idea. Half-Life 3. I hope not, because I want Game 3 to actually come out someday. Isn't Game 3 the one that's supposed to happen over like 20 years? Yes, it is. We'll see how well that works out. How many more games do I think I can do? It depends on how big they are. I don't know. Depends how long I live. Ray Kurzweil thinks he's going to be immortal, and he's older than me, so who knows? What is Game 3? There's a lecture about Game 3, sort of. Let me look it up. This one. I don't know why there's 2 copies of that. One of them is uploaded back in the day, and another one is a new copy for some reason. That video of mine didn't actually get as many views as my talks usually give. I don't know if that's because it's a less good talk or if people don't like it as much. I don't know. Do I have a basic strategy for dividing work versus interaction for coding streams? No, I just do whatever I feel like. What happened to the pizza? You missed the pizza. I didn't miss the pizza, but you did. All right. I think that's going to be it. I'm going to be gone for a few days again, starting tomorrow. So we may not do another stream unless we try another hotel Wi-Fi stream. Those didn't work out that well before, but we'll see. Bring a mic. That's a good point. The problem is this mic, I guess it's kind of portable. Like this part, you could take it off the mic stand, obviously. I don't know. We'll think about it. The thing is, if the actual Wi-Fi at the hotel isn't going to be good enough, then what good is it if I bring a good mic? That doesn't help. All right. Thank you for coming by. And let's see. We haven't tried to raid another programming stream in a while, so let's see what happens if we do that. Man, Nintendo showed so many games that look like they're for 12-year-olds at E3. However, the Nintendo Crypt of the Necrodancer doesn't actually look that bad. It doesn't look... It looks like Crypt of the Necrodancer for casuals. It looks very easy and boring, but that was actually something that I might not mind at least trying out. Whereas all the actual Nintendo first-party games, I was just like, oh my god, I'm falling asleep. But I guess that makes, I'm not really a fan of any of those old versions of those games, so not that interested in new versions. Whereas I'm sure that some people are very excited about them, and I'm sure people will buy them. So I'm not saying that won't happen. Roguelike shmup. Wow, I'm yawning. Working and coding. There's so many plants. Why are there so many plants? I just can't even... I want to find programming. Instead, there's plants. Are we going to do some C#? Okay, we'll do some C#. Thanks everyone for coming by, and I'll see you later.